Yeah, my trip to Africa was using the United Excursionist perk in business class because I wanted to fly in United Polaris business, and my excursionist connection was in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and I did a flight that was an overnight, so I could spend a day in Addis if I wanted to. So it's like an overnight layover. And I hear this is an interesting tip. I haven't been able to try this yet, but I think Ethiopian Airlines, if you have an overnight layover in Addis Ababa, you can go to the counter and get a voucher for a free hotel. And I'm not sure what restrictions apply, and I don't think you can book it in advance, but it's at least worth trying if you want to see an extra city in your trip to Africa. And one of the funny things was that Ethiopia is out of the way compared to where I was going to fly, Kigali to Kinshasa. And it's out of the way, but because it's United miles, I have to redeem it on a Star Alliance partner. And in Africa, the Star Alliance partner is Ethiopian. So I go a little bit out of the way and stay over in Addis and then go down to Kinshasa the next day. So there's cool things you can do like that. And some frequent flyer mile redemptions like Alaska Air, you can build in a stopover. So for the price of one award, you get to see 2 cities, like a multi-day stopover instead of just a 2-hour connection.
Nice.
So those are some of the ways that you can game the system a little bit. It's getting harder. In some ways, it's just for showing off. But if you do this long enough, then eventually you go over to the dark side and start booking first class.
Nice.
You disappear down that fucking rabbit hole. I'm getting there. I mean, I'm already there.
So do you basically have all the free membership credit cards, or there are some that you...
I have a lot of annual fees.
You have some.
I have a lot of annual fees, and I try to make sure that I only keep annual fees if they're worth it for me, but if there's a balancing act. My hotel credit cards I tend to keep because a lot of them give you a free night certificate at your account anniversary, and one of them, for example, I have the old IHG card. The new one has an $89 annual fee, but the old one has a $50 annual fee. You can't get it anymore. But a free night certificate from IHG for a $50 credit card is dope. I mean, it's even a good value at it's even a good value at $90 because some of those hotels rent for $200 a night.
Yeah.
So you try to balance the value, and you try to do things that you would do anyways. Like if you're spending extra money to do shit that you weren't going to do anyways, then that kind of erases the value, and you can't carry a high interest balance. That'll erase the value too. So those are just some of the do's and don'ts, but I definitely walk a fine line with my annual fees. I have a lot of them. Nice. Do you not prefer annual fee credit cards?
Not usually, because
fuck that.
I mean, I'm getting good cash back, and I know which card to use and where. Yeah. And I'm like really good with that part. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to any cards with any fees, I still haven't seen that part. Like I haven't. But if I was offered that credit card, like, yeah, you get a free night anyway. I mean, why not? You know?
Yeah, I see the Southwest credit card as being worth it. The higher fee one, which is $95, because they give you 6,000 Southwest miles every account anniversary, and to me, that's worth about $95, depending. I mean, it's worth now that they're selling flights for $50 and change. Then that's a different story. But when things come back a little bit,
you can use it.
Value. Yeah. Or a card like this. All of these cards, you will have like a 50,000 or 60,000 point sign up bonus. So it takes you something like 5 or 6 years of annual fees before you're really behind. You get such a big welcome bonus. But then you look at things like the fact that the Sapphire Preferred or the Amex Gold come with travel insurance, which you never think you're going to need until your luggage gets lost and you got to go to H&M in Stockholm and buy clothes so that you have clothes for the next day. And that's the kind of thing that you can claim on travel insurance, or if your trip gets canceled, which is a big fucking deal here in the COVID pandemic. And different airlines are handling refunds in different ways. But if you need cash, then travel insurance may be your only way of getting the cash back. If the airline decides to be a dick, you can claim it against travel insurance, and you get some protections automatically by having some cards. So there's ways in Sapphire Preferred has primary car rental collision insurance that just comes with it if you just use the card. So there's ways to justify these annual fees, but it's a balancing act for sure.
Yeah. And I also usually I travel on the cheap side. Like I use hostels more often. Yeah. I do Airbnb, and
I like Airbnb. I don't do hostels much anymore, but I did for a lot of my early trips to Europe. Like for a long ass time I did hostels. Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, they could be cool, man. Some of them are really nice, and they're all good places to meet people.
Yeah, it's that part is the best.
Where do you like to go stay at hostels? What was your favorites?
So funny story. My first hostel ever was in Ramallah. It was a hostel in Ramallah.
Yeah, if it's a hipster town, those are good hostel towns.
It was amazing. I was like, whoa, what is that? That is great. Like, getting introduced to some new culture. It was amazing. And then after that, I stayed in a hostel in Louisiana, New Orleans, and Puerto Rico, and here in Austin, I stayed in a couple.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just like, and in Turkey, I stayed in a hostel. It's a nice culture overall. Like I love the hostel.
Yeah, I remember how Native Hostel became like a hot night spot on the east side, not far from here. Their intention was to put together like a chic upscale hostel, at which point you might as well just be paying for a fucking hotel, except for the fact of its location and its vibe. And then you're like paying for the vibe and to have like a hip restaurant and like bougie night spot to go to.
Pretty much.
But it was fun. I like Native. They used to have tango dances there. I really miss it.
Yeah. I was part of. I had a friend who was part of a Brazilian, whatever samba shit.
Say no more.
Yeah, they had.
I was in samba school for 5 years.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, they rented a room and they were doing a show and carnival and stuff, and I was with them, and it's nice.
Who was it?
You know that those people.
Maybe I don't know. You don't have to say in a public forum if you don't want, but yeah. I know a lot of the samba people, or at least I used to. I haven't performed with them for a couple of years, but yeah, I was performing with Austin Samba for 5 years in a row.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I did 5 carnivals, including the last couple of years in which, in my opinion, carnival was good.
Yeah.
But it might have made a comeback moving over to emos. I don't know. I haven't been in years, but it was starting to no longer be suited for the Palmer Event Center. In my opinion. Have you been?
I'm new to Austin. I still haven't seen those places.
Yeah. Might be a while.
Yeah, exactly. I was waiting for couple of concerts.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring the mood down, but
yes, it is what it is, Just gonna have to find something to do. Right now I'm trying to go out and see some nature stuff.
Yeah, I was excited to maybe go to the Grand Canyon, which is another thing I haven't seen, but the fucking national parks are closed. I think they're still closed. I think Texas has reopened the state parks, so I've thought about trying to get away to something like that, but then I realized that I work too much, and there's a lot that I like to do around Austin, except most of it's closed.
Have you been to the Hamilton Pool?
I want to say yes. Yes, I've been there once. That's the one where you have to like show up early or else it'll be too crowded. Am I right?
Now you have to book in advance.
Because of COVID?
No, I mean it's been.
Oh, they always did
because of the crowd.
I remember doing that. I remember doing that with my friends Evan and Alicia. We had to book in advance, and we went out there and spent the day. It was pretty cool. It was nice. It was nice out there.
It's been on my list like for a while, and when I moved here, I was like, okay, now I go. And last year I went twice. I just love it.
Yeah, I like Sculpture Falls. And as far as having to get to a place early, like especially these days, anything I have to get to early is a fucking non-starter. Just not gonna make it out of bed. My sleep schedule is just completely fucked by COVID-19. I mean, I'm actually exercising more, but less at the same time because I'm not wandering around as much, even as I'm trying to like make a conscious effort to exercise and lift weights, but I'm not making it much further than my apartment for most of the day, which is so different from how it used to be.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man, we'll see what's gonna happen, but I'm totally like up for like some road trips, like some around Texas, just see around it. And
there's nice stuff in Texas.
There is.
I've never been to Big Bend.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. and God, what the fuck else? I don't know many natural parks. I'm not much of an outdoor boy.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of an indoor boy. So, in some ways, this pandemic is my worst nightmare. But like I said, people are like, why would you bother going someplace like Stockholm or Amsterdam? It's going to be boring. And compared to other, like, I don't mean to be rude to anyone, but compared to other parts of Europe, they're a little boring to begin with. And at the same time, if everything's going to be closed, you might as well be in beautiful surroundings.
Makes sense.
Is my opinion.
I mean, right now I'm working from home, but I don't think we have the option to travel because everything we do is tracked. Like I can't.
For your work?
Yeah. Like.
Then what's the point of working from home?
Exactly. And I was happy first. I was like, oh, nice. I get to travel for a little bit, and I'll be working whatever. You know.
What does it matter? Why would they care where you are?
You need the end result, which is. You do 1, 2, 3, and I'm doing the 1, 2, 3. If I do it in the bathroom or on a freaking cliff, why do you care?
If there was a silver lining to come out of this bullshit, I would hope that it would be a more widespread acceptance of remote work.
Yeah.
And I've done work in the past for like financial companies that were very concerned about client social security numbers leaving the office. So I can see that. I don't know, maybe there's parts of the world that are more susceptible to hackers, but you sitting right in your apartment without a VPN and you're susceptible to hackers. That's false sense of security. You micromanage the system more than you micromanage the location of the body. And part of me just wonders if it's just some quasi-fascist need to keep employees under your thumb, which I fucking hate.
Yeah. That would be cool, man. I would totally just be on the road.
Yeah. There's a lot about workplace politics that rubs me the wrong way. Like really badly.
That's exactly. I used to always say that like there should be like a subject called the workplace politics. You have to learn that. Like I mean, in college, you know, like
I was flabbergasted that you weren't supposed to talk about what your salary was with other people in some workplace environments. And I get why, but it was still such a shock. It's like, here's your paycheck. Don't tell anyone. Like, ugh. And people talk about, it's like, I feel the honor and pride of earning a paycheck, but don't talk about it. There's just so many contradictions. The like workplaces are so contradictory, and maybe by necessity, because it could be that a lot of people just can't deal with freedom. I mean, I've had people who talk about, I can't work from home. My TV's there. I would do that all the time. I need someone to tell me not to be on my phone and on Instagram. And I can kind of relate, but also not, because I'm totally distracted by TV and Instagram, but somehow I still manage to get shit done. So maybe the balance is easier for some people than it is for others, but I would hope that being forced to stay at home would lead people to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like, I waste a lot of time, and that's what I do best. Yeah, but at the same time, the end result for me every day is to have a specific amount of production and just do that, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I know, like, I do it whether I sleep until 10 and I wake up and I just jam myself for the next couple of hours, then relax a little bit, then do this, do that. As long as I have to do 1, 2, 3 between 8 and 5, I just manage it.
Yeah, that's about how I do, and some days are better than others.
Yeah.
Most days are pretty good with respect to how well I work from home, and I just like toys. I like gizmos that help me work better. So I love my little Trello boards and my my Google Calendar and my Slack rooms. I'm just such a fucking nerd about that stuff, and I keep on trying to play with like CRMs and website builders to just automate everything. And maybe there's just some like automation nirvana that I will one day achieve where I'm like, I no longer have to do anything. And then I'm like, so what the fuck do I do now? Right. And by then the airports had better be fucking open. My Australian friend is in Scotland, and he said that things might be on track to open back up in July, just in terms of being quite a bit looser compared to what things were, although given how little they seem to know about this disease, I have no idea how we can predict that. That may just be noise. That may just be noise from the politicians, but that's why I feel an affinity for Sweden, because they're not trying to figure out how to walk back what they did. They kind of established a sustainable policy. Of course, they could have gotten absolutely killed if it turned out that the virus had a different character, but that doesn't seem to be how it's going down.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been following on the updates with them trying to find a vaccine or whatever.
Man, I don't have a whole lot of hope about a vaccine. You know, you hear people making noise that they're doing the fastest production ever and then something might be ready by September, and then other people are like, you realize that we've never come up with a vaccine for a different coronavirus in less than like 4 years, right? So I think that wait for a vaccine is not a workable solution because there's no guarantee. There's just no way of knowing if there will be one. I mean, again, I hate to throw down gloom and doom, and I would love to be proved wrong more than you can imagine.
Well, now we have the killer wasps.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. What the fuck is going on with those?
And up next, if you level up to June, you will
rivers
get a
turn
meteor,
to blood.
Right in your hometown, coming soon.
Plague of locusts, rivers turning to blood. Man, we fucked up. What did we do?
Godzilla in September.
Make it sound like a movie. Oh my God.
Well, I just hope to make it level 12 and that's it.
Right? I'm at least glad I didn't take up video games.
Are you a gamer?
I am not. Are you?
Just play Pokemon Go on my phone.
Yeah.
That's it.
I didn't really get into that either. Sometimes I'll play like really old games and just disappear into that for a few hours, but never in a sustained way. And I had some of the first game consoles that came out when I was a kid. I'm probably older than you, although I guess I don't know. But and then I played them throughout middle school and high school, and then I just kind of took it for granted that I'm like, okay, now I'm in college.
Atari
now video games are over. Original NES. But and some of my friends had Sega and then Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. But once I got to college,
I know those.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Once I got to college,
Great.
I was like, all right, video games over. And no one had to tell me that. It was weird. It was just like a thing that I did in my own head that I psyched myself out for. And maybe there was a little bit of noise around the periphery that some of my dorm mates were playing video games and kind of staying in the pocket. But it really kind of like took me by surprise when some of my friends started getting married and having children, and they still had the newest console and they were hardcore gamers after work. I'm like, that's still a thing? Like, not just for children, but like in your life. And I don't know, I don't want to shit talk it too much. I was definitely outvoted in almost any scenario I found myself in.
Yeah, I've never been big on gaming or a good gamer even in the games that I play. And
then there's the guys who are like, actually, bro, you know, it's actually really good for your hand-eye coordination. It's actually like good mental exercise. People who play games have like 5 extra IQ points on average, bro. Like, yeah. They taking that out for a spin in the real world by any chance? Or are they like the most negative hit I hear on games is that they are a low threshold of reward delivery. So it's like they're designed to be challenging, but easy enough to get like an outsized reward sensation. So, and I feel like Guitar Hero is just such the perfect example, because you talk about like there were people bitching and I was like, oh, you should learn to play a real guitar. Learning to play a real guitar is awfully hard.
Yeah.
you can master Guitar Hero in a couple of months. Actual guitar takes years and years, and it's torture sometimes. You got to listen to how bad you are. Whereas learning to play Guitar Hero is like a low threshold for a high reward environment.
4 buttons and you're good to go.
4 buttons and a lever. And I lightened up on Guitar Hero a little bit when my friends' little cousins and tiny siblings and children started singing AC/DC and Iron Maiden instead of Britney Spears. I was like, all right, maybe this is okay. Yeah. But it is such an example of how you get this outsized reward from the brain, like what is the dopamine or serotonin response in your brain for a task that isn't that hard to master and doesn't ultimately bring that much reward. I mean, if you were to like put a lot of effort into learning an actual hard skill that would maybe result in some kind of tangible success in the real world, that would be one thing. There's, I think, a plug on my lamp, on my table lamp over there, if you need to plug that in.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it's actually on the lamp. It's one of those hotel style lamps. That's why it costs the big bucks. I think it was $8.
$8?
Yeah, I buy so much cheap shit on Amazon.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Like maybe $12. Yeah, you see all this expensive looking shit in this room? None of it's actually that expensive.
Yeah, that's what I kind of do.
That's
I
what
have nothing right now.
You just looked at me and assumed I was cheap.
No,
that's a good assumption. All my shit falls off of walls, obviously.
Oh,
but,
trust me, I have plastic drawers for like those whatever racks. Like just I don't need to spend my money there.
Have you ever been tempted to go full-time Airbnb?
As in stay in a full...
Like have that be how you live instead of like a 12-month lease somewhere. I mean, I don't even know if you do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And
me too.
And I'm kind of looking next to move into my own place. Like I was planning to buy a house, but now...
That can be tough for travel unless you like rent it out or Airbnb
yeah, just
it.
Have it there and for me, and at the same time I can just go whenever I want.
Or people, that's the conundrum with people who like to travel, because the less stuff you have tying you down, the easier it is to just get up and go, which is why, or part of why, like people are like, why don't you get a dog? You'd be less of an asshole. I'm like, well, you're probably right, but what would the dog do while I was in Europe?
Yeah.
Don't go to Europe. Go fuck yourself.
Simple as that.
Why don't you put down roots and act your age? Go fuck yourself. That's kind of how I feel about that. So I don't know. What do you encounter a lot of people who are stuck up? I don't mean stuck up like I'm stuck up, but who feel blocks about their ability to travel?
Yeah, there are people who just like find excuses and, oh, how do you do it? How do you travel so much? And they know like I used to have like minimum wage work, and I just traveled more actually when you
had minimum wage work. How did that shake out?
I'm just really like good with my money. Like I don't want to spend it on whatever. I just focus on traveling with my money. Like instead of just buying shit, I buy air flights or like bookings, and I just make sure that my money goes in the right place.
Something's weirding me out about this.
Don't tell me that I've been talking and nothing is being recorded.
Well, we got this, but there's nothing wrong here. But
back up.
Yeah, we're having a good talk. Hold on.
Hello from the other side. Hello.
It might have restarted at some point, so we probably have the whole thing just in a couple of segments.
Yeah.
And if we need to, I can just fuck around and splice it in, but we should probably wrap it up. But what's the conversation like when people are like, oh, I wish I could travel like you, but I can't? Because that's hard to hear.
Why can't you? Why is it so hard for you to take a couple of days off and just enjoy yourself? And at the end of the day, you're wasting your money on what? I don't know. Like, I don't know, man. I really do not know how people waste their money. Like some of my friends, like they know me how good with money I am, and they're like, oh, I wish I have 20% of your ability to save money. Or some other person would just tell me, oh, now I'm sitting at home. I actually noticed that I'm spending less. I'm like, yes.
No shit.
Guess what? That's what happens if you don't know how to control your money. When you go out spending your money, don't think that you have money. Just in your head, keep it as, oh, I don't have $5 to buy this shit. I'll just go to the store and spend $20 to get food that's going to last me for a week. For example,
right.
Sometimes you have to, don't go to the theater, watch a movie at home, just whatever, dude. Like
doing a lot of that now.
Yeah. Right. It's just, there are stuff that you can always do. Like you decide how you want to go about this. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who even travel cheaper than I know, than I'm doing even.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just about how hard do you want to travel? How hard do you want to do something?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody will tell you, yeah, I love traveling. But yeah, you also love shopping. You also love this. You also love... Everybody loves everything. So you need to focus your priorities. Like, what's your
So it's about choices.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's simply it, basically. Yeah, that's what I...
Well, if people want to follow you and learn more about what you do and how you do it, how would they go about that?
So right now I'm a little like on social media. I'm kind of lazy, but I'm fun. Like you can, especially on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you're gonna laugh a lot.
And that is
ZeeOverSeeZ, and that spells ZeeOverSeeZ. It's kind of a pun, one word, and it's fun. It's fun.
Cool. And fun. Are you and also on YouTube?
On YouTube, same ZeeOverSeeZ.
ZeeOverSeeZ on YouTube. Z, thank you so much for sitting down with us. It's been a very interesting conversation. I learned a lot.
Sure, man.
All right, let's shut this down.
Awesome.